Y'all ever accidentally break reality at a Waffle House? No, like actually break it. Tear a hole in the space-time flapjack. Flood the grid with biscuit ghosts. Get attacked by a glitching short order cook and end up picking out a clone from a tank full of naked waiters? Well, if you haven't, well, it's probably because I already did it for you. Grab your coffee, keep your eyes on the napkin dispenser, and be careful where you sit your syrup bottle. This here's a story of how I knocked out Scooter and tore a hole in reality. It all started like any normal Thursday morning, me sitting at Waffle House complaining about Scooter, while Natalie sipped her coffee and tried not to look personally responsible for bringing me into this world. Scooter was behind the counter, stone-faced, dead-eyed, looking like he hadn't aged since Bush Sr. He dropped a plate of hash browns in front of me like it was a declaration of war. "These ain't even crispy," I muttered. "They're cooked exactly how you always order them," he said. "Yeah, well, maybe this time I wanted crispy." Natalie looked at me like she was regretting all of her life choices at once. "Are you just determined to start something today?" she asked. "He started it," I said, pointing at Scooter. My hand smacked the syrup bottle. The lid wasn't on. Syrup geysered out, oozing over the edge of the table and dripping onto the floor. Scooter turned, stepped in it, slipped, arms flailing, and whack! Head met table. Natalie didn't even blink. She just sipped on her coffee. You shouldn't have done that. Then everything went sideways. The lights dimmed. The jukebox played country roads but slow and warbled. Ceiling tiles melted into bacon grease clouds. The air tastes like static sausage and betrayal. "Why's the toaster breathing?" I screamed. Natalie, calm as a snake in a hammock, said, "The grid's collapsing. Every Waffle House is a regional anchor. Each one's got a Scooter responsible for maintaining the fabric of reality within a 30-mile radius. You just knocked ours out." Scooter was the linchpin of reality? Of our reality, yes. She set her mug down and stood up from the booth, which was slowly transforming into one of those spring-mounted kiddie rides shaped like a sad pony. Then her Illuminati mask flickered on, glowing, angular, powerful. I panicked. "Wait, Natalie." I dove just as the beam of light screamed past me and disintegrated a flaming bus full of mannequin versions of me barreling through the front window. I landed hard. I got up and I dusted off my jeans. Natalie laughed when I told her I was sorry if I ever hurt her feelings. That was the prettiest, scariest laugh I ever heard. Then came the glitches. The napkin dispenser screamed. A coffee cup folded into a square and whispered, "My high school GPA." Ricky Dale's truck drove past the window, again and again, each version more melted than the last. A rooster burst through the door wearing my face. "Natalie, please tell me I'm dead." "Not yet," she said, "but things are getting pretty weird." That's when Scooter stood up. Not normal Scooter. This one twitched and glitched. He looked like a fry cook and a ghost had an argument inside of a microwave.
"Welcome to the grid."
His apron crackled. One hand sparked. The other gripped a fork like it was about to judge me eternally.
"Be careful, the plate is hot."
He pointed. A beam scorched past me and hit the jukebox. It turned into a screaming owl and exploded in glitter.
"Your order will be out shortly."
Molten biscuits rained from the ceiling. "Natalie, help!" She was already moving, blink teleporting from booth to booth while I did what I do best, scream and talk trash. "Hey, Scooter, I found your tip jar and it's empty just like your heart."
"Enjoy your meal."
A menu spun like a buzzsaw. Natalie slid behind him and slammed a glowing karate chop into the back of his neck. Runes flashed. Scooter spasmed. Then he froze, shivered, and collapsed. I plopped down beside him, panting. Did we win or did breakfast just kill God? "We need a new Scooter," Natalie said. "There's more of them." She offered her hand. I thought she was helping me up, so I grabbed it. And reality slipped. We started flipping. Not falling, just flipping through realities like TV channels God forgot to cancel. First, we saw a possum with a glowing third eye sobbing into an empty ranch cup. Chicken nugget in one hand, ranch all over his lap like his life came apart at lunch. Then a massive eye in the sky watching a bingo game. Every player was me. Every square said lose. And one version of me yelled bingo and then evaporated. Then a raccoon wearing Natalie's mask, smoking a pipe, writing my autobiography in a leather-bound journal. It looked up and nodded like it knew everything. Then, bam, I hit the tile. I looked up and there he was, Sergeant Grits, one-eyed war buddy possum, lab coat, clipboard, chewing a toothpick like this was somehow normal. Grits, you run this place? Yep. Natalie. You never asked, she shrugged. Grits led us past the glass wall. Inside was a tree, y'all. A tree covered in scooters. Right as I opened my mouth, one of the clones turned ripe and fell off the branch with a wet thud. Is that a scooter tree? Yeah, that's a backup growth system, Grits said. I almost passed out. Then we came up on rows and rows of giant fish tanks. 5 naked scooters per tank. One was running on a hamster wheel. 2 were fighting. 1 drinking from a giant bottle. 1 burrowing into bedding like it was a nuclear winter. Grits tapped on the glass. All of them stopped what they were doing and they started running over, except for the sleepy one. He just grunted and rolled over. I said, "Ew, no, don't run. Damn, Grits, why ain't they wearing clothes?" We had to pick one out like we were choosing a puppy. 1 was smiling too much. 1 was mean-mugging me like I borrowed his truck and filled it with gravel. Natalie pointed to the sleepy one. He'll be too tired to argue, probably just wave you off. Natalie, give him your pants. She didn't even look at me, y'all. She just tapped me on the forehead. I don't know what the teleport back was like because I spent the whole damn trip as a literal taco, y'all. Tortilla, meat, shame. I came to back in the Waffle House, sticky and exhausted. Natalie was already programming Scooter 42G. He leaned over, pressed his forehead to the register, and muttered something about clocking in. Then the air exhaled. The boots landed. The napkin dispenser stopped screaming. A receipt floated onto my shoulder like a peace treaty. Then the toaster sparked. A single slice of toast popped out. It laughed. Natalie took a sip of coffee. She said, "Well, 97% fixed." I looked around at the still smoldering remains. That's good enough, and I meant it. Next time I spill syrup, I'm going to clean it up immediately, right after I ask if Scooter's wearing a helmet. All right, y'all, it's time for Redneck Mail Time, that part of the show where I answer listener questions delivered in the least appropriate way possible. This week's letters come courtesy of Sergeant Grits, who somehow figured out how to reprogram the screaming napkin dispenser from earlier. It now reads mail, but it still screams.
Redneck Mail Time. It's time for Redneck Mail Time. Yee-haw! Redneck Mail Time.
Letter number 1 comes from the Sentient Mop Bucket. It says, "Dear Paul, I've developed self-awareness. Every time someone kicks me, I lose time. The mop whispers to me. Am I real? Signed, Moppy." Moppy, I'd say you're real enough to be worried. If the mop's whispering, it knows things. Things soaked in cleaner and cosmic regret. My advice, stay damp, but never submissive. Avoid the tile near boot 6. And if she starts humming, find Grits and hide under something metal. Letter number 2 comes from the reality hole in the floor. It says, "Dear Paul, I open every Tuesday. No one notices. Sometimes I spit out alternate versions of Ricky Dale. Should I be concerned? Signed, the wrong hole. If your Ricky Dale has more than one wisdom tooth in the same socket, close the hole immediately. That ain't him. That's Diet Ricky Dale from a cursed dimension. Stuff a prayer-scented rag in the opening, bless it with pickle juice, and tell the park council not to touch it. We do not need more than one Ricky." Letter number 3 comes from the radio that plays the future. "Dear Paul, I play songs that ain't happened yet. People hear them, and then those things happen. A possum funeral ad aired. Now Grits is missing a cousin. Signed, Time Traveling Tunes." Well, that's a heavy frequency, friend. Predicting the future's risky. Predicting possum funerals? That's borderline illegal in 3 counties. Stick to oldies. Skip the death notices. And if your antennas start vibrating during gospel, shut yourself off and let the Holy Spirit buffer. Letter number 4 comes from the phasing fork. It says, "Dear Paul, I stabbed a sausage and pierced the veil. Now I hear the pancakes singing. Help." Signed, Time Traveler. Well, you've entered what we call the hash brown threshold. When breakfast starts making music, it means you're being summoned. Cover yourself in foil. Soak in cold dishwater. Repeat, "I am not a utensil," until the pancakes go silent. If that don't work, accept your fate and join the choir of the golden syrup. Letter number 5 comes from the Weepin' Juice Machine. It says, "Dear Paul, I used to make cherry limeade. Now I cry grape. Everyone who drinks from me forgets their name for 5 seconds. I think I'm haunted by a Dairy Queen manager." Signed, the Juice Box. Well, grape is the saddest of all slushies. Being haunted by a Dairy Queen manager explains everything. Get blessed with lemon slices. Avoid eye contact with ice. And if someone orders grape again, charge them double and send me a recording of their face. I collect those now. So, what did I learn from this rupture in reality? Well, turns out syrup ain't just a topping. It's a catalyst for catastrophic metaphysical failure. Scooter, the man who has never once smiled at a customer, was the structural support beam for our whole region. One slip and boom, bacon clouds, glitch owls, and a Cracker Barrel tower spiraling into the sky. Natalie can vaporize a flaming bus with her eyes without spilling her coffee. That's both deeply comforting and wildly unsettling. Sergeant Grits apparently runs a facility where naked scooters grow on trees and do laps in hamster wheels like it's the most normal thing in the world. And somehow, I was the last to find out. And if Toast ever starts laughing at you, it's time to sit down, shut up, and rethink some of your choices. Remember, keep your hash browns crispy, your reality stable, and always clean up your spilled syrup. You've been listening to the DeepSouth Podcast. This is Possum Paul McGraw Jr. signing off. Y'all be safe out there and stay weird.